Right now on 9, reports of a gas leak lead to a massive house explosion in the metro, forcing an immediate evacuation and damaging surrounding homes. How the neighborhood's recovering, plus what the victim inside the home remembers. And staying connected to stay safe, how neighborhoods across the metro are keeping each other safe and alert.
This is Oklahoma's own News 9 in high definition.
Good evening. A woman narrowly escapes as her home explodes in a ball of fire in the middle of her southwest Oklahoma City neighborhood. We have complete team coverage tonight from the scene. Kelly Ogle is live with a team of reporters, and we begin with Kelly on what we know right now. Kelly?
Yeah, Amanda, let me tell you right now, we know Oklahoma City firefighters are back on the scene. They were called out about 20 minutes ago because some more smoke was seen wafting out of what's left of the house at 9208 South Villa here in Oklahoma City. And if you listen out here, what you'll hear tonight is the whining of power saws, the ratcheting of drills, as neighbors try to cover up their broken windows, their broken doors, garage doors, especially across the street from this house that exploded. You can hear one of the circular saws just a few feet away from me as men go to work trying to cover up the exposures to the house across the street. Here is what we know right now. About 3:30 this afternoon, a contractor was digging, and we're going to get out of the way so you can see where they were. They were trenching. The lines had been marked. They knew where they were, but they were also working very close to them, and they hit a 2-inch medium pressure gas line. About 30 minutes later, ONG crews were called out to see if they could get a handle on it. There was a report of strong smell of natural gas in the area. And just a short time later, apparently that natural gas migrated into 9208, the home 9208 Villa, filled the home with gas, and something then ignited it, something probably like the hot water heater, and the house just blew apart. 2 ONG workers and a neighbor rushed in and pulled a woman out of the house. Amazingly, she only had a cut on her cheek, and she is okay, but as you can imagine, quite shell-shocked. We're going to show you more of the scene here in just a moment, but News 9's Evan Anderson is on the other side of the property, a little closer to some of the damage, and he has talked with ONG tonight. Evan?
Yeah, and Kelly, firefighters continue to comb through this home, as you can see right behind me. ONG spokesperson we just spoke with moments ago says once again a private contractor hit one of their lines, causing a leak and then ultimately an explosion. We talked to Cherokee Ballard with ONG just moments ago. Take a listen.
Our first priority is safety always, and so our crews got here, tried to maintain the safety of the scene, worked with the fire department very closely, and then in the process, as you all have heard, a couple of our employees went above and beyond and went in this home and brought this woman out.
All right, back here live where our firefighters continue to go through this home, putting out smoldering spots, and just quite an amazing scene out here. Once again, we want to give you guys a look at the devastating video from our aerial shots from Bob Mills Sky News 9 HD. If you take a look, again, just a massive fire after the explosion that leveled this woman's house. Quite a scene just hours ago, and as you can see, firefighters here now are still combing through it. We did speak with the OKC Deputy Fire Chief, who tells us that the ONG worker risked his life, 2 ONG workers, as well as a neighbor, to save the woman in her home. We caught up with her just as she was being taken out of the ambulance and put inside of her vehicle. She spoke with us briefly. Take a listen.
All I remember is the explosion. Good Lord was with me. I'm alive. Thank you.
It's terrifying. I've lost a house by fire before, and it's a horrible feeling.
It was like that roof was upside down.
It was. The roof was upside down.
You could see the decking.
All right, now you can hear the entire neighborhood completely shaken when they heard that explosion around 3:30 this afternoon and that massive fire that followed. ONG crews, I've been told, will continue working here throughout the night, and we're told by Cherokee Ballard that the investigation to exactly what happened continues. Kelly, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Evan, and yeah, you're looking at a couple of OG&E workers right now. They're filling up that trench again that was dug out earlier. That's where the line actually was. It had remained ruptured but not leaking. They'd shut it off up until about 30 minutes ago. They've got it patched. They're using those little track hose now to to kind of reform that area and fill the trench back in eventually. And they had about 24 people here in the neighborhood who have been without natural gas all evening. Not sure when it's going to be back on, but it could be any minute. Hopefully it will be for those folks. A lot of these neighbors are stunned around here. News 9's Michael Konopasek was on the scene today. I'll tell you, the aerials we saw, Michael, from Sky News 9 HD were just incredible, and you saw it from the ground. It was a roaring fire.
It really was. We started out just behind this house, and we were able to get a good look at the home. And I can tell you, Kelly, that some people in this area still are not allowed to be back in their homes, as you know, while crews continue checking the area, checking homes, and checking the gas lines to make sure that a second explosion does not occur.
It was just like a movie, rocking this southwest side neighborhood and sending a cloud of black high in the sky.
Yeah, anyone that was here during the Murrow building, everyone knew it was an explosion. We came outside and everyone was just trying to find out where it was.
And then I came outside.
This man saw what happened.
The top of the house down there had blown up, and the roof came off the house and flipped the other way and came back down on the house. It was pretty crazy.
O&G crews are going door to door, and the Red Cross is assisting people who've been evacuated. Shortly after we first arrived, Betty Nordquist was anxiously waiting to get out of the cold.
Right now, what are you and other neighbors dealing with?
Not being able to go home. We're waiting for them to give us the all clear.
Neighbors are just thankful nobody was seriously injured.
It's unbelievable. It shook everything.
It's worse than an earthquake.
And now for 5 hours now, people have been in this neighborhood. Neighbors just filling the streets, watching exactly what's been going on. And as you can see here in this area, that continues tonight, Kelly.
Absolutely. There are a lot of folks out walking around with blankets around them and everything else because a lot of their homes don't have heat again right now because the gas is turned off. All right, Michael, appreciate it. Guys, back at the station, if you can show that video one more time of the roaring fire that was at this house this afternoon right behind me. What confused us was, how do you have a house explosion and this kind of fire and someone survive it? We still don't really know. It's a miracle she did. But we know this, that the gas apparently from this pipeline jetted toward the house, migrated perhaps into the garage area, and a hot water heater or something like that was the ignition point that caused this home to explode just before 5 o'clock today. It is a miracle that no one was killed in this, only a minor injury. Lots of structural damage to these homes nearby, and of course the home across the street. There's nothing left of it. Amanda, more to come. Back to you now.
You're right, Kelly. It is amazing that she did survive this. Kelly, we appreciate that. We'll check back in with Kelly in a few minutes. Now we are also following some more breaking news. Police say a suspected drunk driver just plowed through a parking lot. The woman hit 5 parked cars and ran over 3 people. This happened at an apartment complex at the Brighton Place Apartments. That's near I-240 in South Walker. Police say one of the victims is in critical condition. Now to the latest in that medical chopper crash in Seminole County. Investigators are still busy looking into what happened just moments before it crash landed yesterday in a field right behind a home near Cromwell. All 4 crew members on board were hurt, but will be okay. It's believed the engine failed, but the National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. And we are also following breaking news we first reported this afternoon. A man found dead with a gunshot wound to the chest inside an apartment near Northwest 23rd and Glade. Right now, Bethany police are still not sure if the victim was murdered or if this is a suicide. Investigators have questioned the man's adult son and a friend who were inside the apartment. Police have found the stolen car in a carjacking that ended in Spencer. Right now, though, they are still looking for the attacker. A woman says she picked up a man around 8:30 last night to give him a ride. He then punched her in the face and forced her out of the car. There's no good suspect description, but the victim says he's between the ages of 19 and 24. A nationwide investigation by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement identifies 13 Oklahoma victims of child pornography. ICE says all the victims are tied back to one suspect out of Tulsa. Tonight, the investigation is still ongoing. This is all part of Operation Sunflower, which began in November. And so far, 245 people have been arrested in 19 states. In a separate investigation, charges are filed against a man accused of possessing child porn. Court documents show William Vines admits to the crime. Also, when detectives confiscated his laptop last month in Northwest OKC, they say it was downloading a new child porn video. And happening now, neighbors in one Edmond neighborhood are dealing with vandalism. They're really upset about this because police say someone spray painted vulgar words and images throughout the area just south of 33rd between Bryant and Coltrane. They also tagged 9 cars, signs, and a playground.
I have no idea what they will get out and do that, but it happens. I think it happens more than this everywhere today, but it's a shame they do that.
One house did have security camera, and police are going through that video right now. They're looking to see if they can actually identify the suspects. You can see it shows some people. You can't make out their faces, though, so anyone with information should call Edmond Police. Police respond to a disturbance call and end up making a big drug bust in southwest Oklahoma City. When police got to the home on Tuesday near Exchange and Penn, they found more than $425,000 and a pound of crystal meth. An officer also says Elias Amato was standing inside the ransacked house. He was alone. He has been booked into the county jail for drug trafficking. Around the state, Oklahoma has the second flu death of the season. State Health Department's weekly report says the death happened in Tulsa County sometime between December 26th and New Year's Day. The first death also happened in Tulsa County and was reported last week. Since September 30th, there have been 171 people hospitalized with the flu in our state. Coming up next on News 9, we continue our team coverage of the gas leak that sent a Metro home up in flames. Plus, connecting with those next door online. The new social networking site spreading across the Metro that's helping keep Oklahomans safe.
Still a big snowstorm going on in southwest Texas, easing up this way very slowly.
You're watching Oklahoma's own News 9 in high definition.
Oklahoma City firefighters back inside what's left of the house at 9208 South Villa here in Oklahoma City after it exploded today just minutes before 5 o'clock. A crew working near a natural gas pipeline with a trencher hit the pipeline. Gas filled the area, and most of it apparently migrated into the lady's house there, and something ignited it, whether it was a hot water heater or her oven. Something ignited it and the house exploded. Neighbors who saw it said they saw the roof actually come up off the house, and a big chunk of the roof is in the front yard right now, upside down, intact, like it was blown off the house. It's an amazing sight, and a lot of the damage, I was talking with Michael Konopasek a moment ago, reminds you of storm damage to nearby homes where you have windows blown in, garage doors blown in. There's a piece of a garage door wrapped around a brick mailbox over here. It's a pretty amazing sight. Just talked to the ONG workers. They have the ruptured gas line fixed. It is covered up. There are about 24 homes here in the neighborhood that have been without gas since this happened. They're going to be turning that back onto them shortly. I know the folks around here will appreciate it. The real miracle in all of this is the woman who was inside that house when the house exploded has only minor injuries. It truly is an amazing thing. Amanda? That is amazing. In fact, I heard the woman was more concerned about where her cat was than her own well-being. Amazing she's okay. We're going to continue following that story. Now, in other news, a new social networking site is drawing interest in neighborhoods across Oklahoma City. It is called Nextdoor.com, and it's not your typical social media site. News 9's Steve Shaw is live in the newsroom with more on this. Steve?
Amanda, Briarwoods Estates in northwest Oklahoma City is one of 25 local neighborhoods that have linked themselves to Nextdoor.com. It's a free service that folks that live here say makes a lot of sense.
Sometimes people get just leery of what's going on.
Jan Helzel and her husband Bob have lived in Briarwood Estates more than 40 years.
Oh, there's an electrician and we need one of those.
8 months ago, a neighbor told them about Nextdoor.com. It's a website that helps neighbors get to know each other. Nirav Tolia founded the company in California.
This isn't about making friends. This is about coming together with your neighbors to solve problems, whether they're simple problems like you're looking for a housekeeper or a babysitter or a contractor recommendation.
Bob Helzel says Nextdoor.com has made an already strong neighborhood watch program even stronger.
We've actually been instrumental in catching a couple of burglars and not only catching them, but seeing that they were convicted, and they're both serving time in jail now.
There was initially a little fear about putting out information like where you live or what kind of car you drive or if you have animals or children, but that fear was alleviated when they found out that this is a secure website. The only people who are on it and that can get on it are the neighbors.
Nationwide, Nextdoor.com has spread into 7,000 neighborhoods in 49 states, and it's 100% free.
It's helped us find lost animals. We had one just the other day, a little lost doggy who later turned up in the people's cabinet, but nevertheless, it went out on the network.
It has 150 homes, almost half have joined Nextdoor.com, and I think that number is probably rising pretty quickly. Steve Shaw, News 9.
And now your weather with Oklahoma's own Gary England.
Frigid temperature conditions continue along the snowpack area. The Oklahoma Panhandle points to the west, northwest, and north. Down south, there's Midland with a 36, at 29 El Paso. Been snowing off and on for several hours, parts of New Mexico into Texas. That area's been moving a little bit up toward Dallas. If it ever gets to Dallas, that'll be later on tomorrow night. Might be some light snow activity. Doesn't look like anything that would affect the roads. Of course, that game will be played indoors, but still it'll be in the 30s down there. But there's the snow area. The red area is the winter storm warning in Marfa, Texas, being hammered. Some areas have picked up over a ½ inch of liquid precipitation if you melt the snow down and check it out. But the chance of this doing much in Oklahoma is pretty slim, even though this big storm system, upper levels that's helping to cause it, is right here, and it's going to come up over Oklahoma. When it comes over us, it looks like it's going to be pretty dry. So later on tomorrow night, early Saturday, slight chance of a winter mix. A little freezing precipitation, a little snow around, but it should be brief. Southeastern Oklahoma will be the area most likely to have anything of significance, but that doesn't look too likely even in that region. All right, weather headlines. Cold and frosty tonight, and a slight chance of a wintry mix late tomorrow night and early on Saturday. Should not be any road problems. Next good opportunity, next pretty good opportunity, we'll call it, for rain would be next Tuesday, Wednesday. The storm looks pretty solid right now, but, you know, you could look at one of those maps we were just showing a minute ago. You can't see it. It really hasn't formed yet. So anytime you have that, you want to certainly just be a little cautious about what you say about the next big storm. But this one looks reasonable at this time. 24 on the low, 42 on the high so far today. Now, we have been down to -9. We've been up to 78. So these two numbers are safely tucked in between these two. And so far this year, is -0.15 inches. San Ridge Skycam Network is 32. No wind, so it feels like 32. No wind in Oklahoma, a rare event. 61% on the humidity. Dew point's very low, indicating not much moisture in the atmosphere. Lows tonight. In the snowpack, out around Guyman, 8, then a 20 Woodward, 18 Enid in Ponca City, 20 up at Stillwater, 23 in and around the Oklahoma City area. Some areas be a little bit colder than that. And one of the warmer ones will be Durant with 28 degrees. Highs tomorrow in the 40s primarily. So really, it's cold tonight, it's cold in the morning, and it's pretty cool all day long tomorrow. Not a lot of wind. In some areas, if you're out of that little bit of wind and the sunshine, it'll feel good for a few hours, few minutes at least. 47 McAllister, 43 in Enid tomorrow. For the metro in the morning, wind chill though 13, a little bit of wind, low temperature. So wrap up. Noon, 38 degrees, 5 p.m. tomorrow, around 44, 5 to 15 miles per hour, make it feel like it's still in the 30s. So it's kind of an all day long wrap up deal. 7-day, here it is for you. On Friday, 44. On Saturday, 45, Sunday, 46, and Monday, 50. 20% chance of light winter mix in parts of central and southern Oklahoma and southeastern sections Friday night. Tuesday, 40% probability, some precipitation. Might even get a thunderstorm. And then Tuesday night and Wednesday, gosh, 30% probability at least. Some rain, maybe even some snow in parts of Oklahoma. So it still falls in the what-if category, but it looks reasonably good right now.
We know you'll keep us updated, and that no wind is short-lived, isn't it, yeah. Here in Oklahoma. Big game going on tomorrow. Stay with us. Sports is next.
Driven by your Oklahoma Ford dealers, this is News 9 Sports with Chuck Fisher.
Hi again, everyone. Welcome to the Napa Sports Desk. The two quarterbacks front and center at today's Cotton Bowl festivities. One is a guy who's been in the Heisman conversation for the last couple of years. The other actually won it as a freshman this year. Here's Dean Blevins from Dallas.
It's here, almost. The anticipation is almost over. And speaking of anticipation, this Cotton Bowl between Oklahoma and A&M may be the most anticipated of all the bowls outside of the BCS title game. Bob Stoops spoke at the Cotton Bowl luncheon on Thursday, and he said it's go time.
It's time to do
what we do. And that comes from Kevin back in one of our team meetings back in the day, getting ready for a game. He said, boys, it's time that we do what we do.
The star quarterbacks shook hands Thursday on center stage, as they will again on Friday. Jones can become only the second quarterback in FBS history to start and win 4 bowl games.
He's a really good player, runs their offense very well, plays within the system, doesn't get rattled. Reminds me a lot of A.J. McCarron, the way he runs the offense. Been there forever.
And for the Heisman winner, Manziel turned 20 last month, but he turned heads last year.
He came in and he pretty much knew he was going to be redshirted his freshman year, but he was at every single workout, and he was competing against Ryan Tannehill, who's an incredible athlete too. And you know, I mean, he doesn't like losing.
At most places, if you finish 10-2 and you lose to number 1 and number 5, and you beat arch rival Texas and in-state rival Oklahoma State, you've had a very successful season. But Oklahoma is not most places, and some predicted the Sooners would win the national championship. So, does Oklahoma have to beat Texas A&M to have a successful season? Reporting from Dallas, I'm Dean Blevins.
The Big 12 Conference was 4-3 in bowl games coming into tonight. Kansas State playing Oregon in the Fiesta, trying to make it 5-3. Not a good start for the Wildcats. Great start for the Ducks. Opening kickoff goes to DeAnthony Thomas. He's one of the fastest guys in college football. He's going to show you right here. 94 yards to the house, 8-0 Ducks after a 2-point conversion. It's 15-10 Oregon with 20 seconds left in the first half. Marcus Mariota to Kenyon Barner out of the backfield, giving Oregon a 22-10 lead at the half. They lead K-State 32-17 right now in the fourth quarter. A ridiculous dunk in the NBA tonight. We'll show it to you next.